Namaste, everyone. We are going to be doing our yin flow for this week. And I would suggest you have 2 blocks and a bolster available. And if you don't have a really thick mat and your knees are sensitive, if you're on a really hard floor, you may want one of the knee pads or a blanket to cushion those bones. So today, I wanted to focus on the fact that this weekend coming up, we have the Chinese New Year. And probably for the last decade, I have found it pretty fascinating coming upon the Chinese New Year to notice how aligned it is to the astrology and the numerology for this upcoming year, 2024. It seems to align every year. And with the astrology and numerology, I give this big report about how the energy is going to be for the rest of the year. For the Chinese New Year, it's going to be a wood dragon. And if you've ever been to, a Chinese restaurant and they have the paper zodiac placemats in front of you, you've probably looked up what year you were born, what animal that relates to. Their zodiac is quite different from our zodiac. There's a pig, a rat, a snake, a dragon, all types of things. I happen to be a tiger, but it changes every 12 years. And this year is the dragon. Now, something also unique about the Chinese lunar calendar is they put an element with these zodiac animals. And this year happens to be wood. So let's think about wood for a moment. Wood, let's just refer back to a tree. So the tree has its roots obviously going into the soil below, and that creates its stability. That's what grounds it, and it branches out from there. And then think of the trunk growing upward towards the light. And so this year, because of the wood element, is a lot about growth and potential. Now, if you look at the dragon's fierce. The dragon has leadership skill. The dragon is independent. The dragon represents abundance. So energy for this year, according to the Chinese calendar, it's going to be fast-paced, and it's going to be very yang energy. So the yang energy means action. So any action that you do, that energy is going to put a lot of support behind it. Now, we want to try to go with the flow as much as we can. I'm sure you've already noticed in life, there's some endeavors we do where everything falls into place and things just open up. And then there's other times in life where we feel like we're challenged and we're fighting the current and we're swimming upstream. So think about letting go and going with the flow this year as you're being active. It's a big year for evolutionary changes. And that's what aligns with the astrology and numerology for 2024. This is going to be a huge, impactful year. So because it's the year of the dragon, we're going to focus on the dragon poses today. And I suggest blocks because hopefully you'll find it as helpful as I do having these as part of the practice today. We're also going to use a block to start our first pose. One of the blocks have at the front side of your mat. And then the second block you're actually going to sit on. Now, when you come to sit, you might be able to sit on your heels. You may not even need the block. Or you may actually need that second block to go up a little higher to cater to your knees or ankles. So figure that out first. And any men in the audience, you're going to have your right hand on top of your left. And ladies, we're going to have the left hand on top of the right. And the thumbs actually come together. And this is a mudra for meditation and to be contemplative. So when you close your eyes and sit up nice and straight, I want you to consider yin yang. And this is a blended practice. The yin is passive, cooler and more feminine. The yang is masculine, heating. The right side of the body refers back to the yang side, the solar side, the masculine side, and the left is the feminine. Take a moment to uplift your sternum. And take time to open up your deep yogic breath. Noticing as you're deepening the flow, the natural action of the spine to lengthen on the inhale, and that settling in effect, that slight descent on the exhale. Now we're actually going to alter our position. Still sitting on the block. We're going to step the left foot out in front. And if leaning to the right and stepping that left foot forward doesn't work for you, try coming forward in table, step the left foot, just a baby step, and then push back away from your hands. That's another way to get into it. We're going to place prayer position, rest the elbow on the knee, and rest your head into prayer hands. As your thumbs meet the third eye, remember this is an acupressure point, or what we call a marma point in yoga, that will induce a current of energy here that helps to induce some mental peace. And maybe as you're here, just considering what it is that you're aiming for this year. Are you embracing the changes? Are you wanting to change your direction somehow in life? And if that's the case, maybe consider some action steps to do just that. Inhale back the head up. Exhale, lean back into your hands. And we're going to tuck and lift the tailbone. So we're lifting away from the block. At the same time, push forward with your hands and hips. Draw the shoulders back and allow your chest to expand and lean your head back just a skosh, enough to gaze up towards the ceiling. Opening up the front of the right thigh, the quads, hip flexor, and then release. All right, when you release, you can come forward and land your left shin, step your right foot forward if you want to come into it this way. Otherwise, come back to that Virasana and step your right foot through. All right, same idea, second side. Hands to prayer. The right elbow can rest on the knee. Allowing your breath to take you within. Remembering as we move through this practice, especially when you're in the yin, longer held positions, You want to use your own discernment and your own experience to determine if you should stay in or exit out. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, feel the hands behind you. Tuck and lift away from the block. Press away from your hands, shifting your hips forward, and then lean your head back just enough so your neck's in line with your spine. Shoulders back, chest held up. Deep breaths. And on your next exhalation, drop your seat, but take your hand to the block so that as you move ahead on your mat, you can bring that block with you and come to tabletop position. Now, from our tabletop position, we're going to move into some cat-cows. So go ahead and lift your sits bones in the top of your head. Let the belly drag down. As you exhale, the tailbone tucks, your head bows, but you scoop in through the belly. Inhale, work from your low back and create that curvature all the way into your neck. And then as you exhale, round it out. Feel free to activate that Ujjayi breath if you want to listen to its sound. And then I want you to notice the base, the foundation of the pose. Notice when you're arching the spine to cow tilt, there's less pressure in the hands and feet. But on the out breath with cat stretch, we are applying the pressure a little deeper through the hands and feet. Last set. Now, as you create a neutral back, walk your hands another step beyond, curl your toes, and pop up to downward facing dog. Distribute that weight into the mound of the index, the mound of the thumb. Lengthen through your arms. Gaze in that direction towards your feet. And also press through the feet so that you're really lifting the energy towards your seat. Now let's travel the feet forward, slowly but surely, up to the top of the mat. Feel free to lift the hands along the way. But when you come up to the front of the mat, you're going to softly bend your knees. You're going to stay folded over and create the dangling pose. The variation here that's more passive. You're not doing any work. You're not trying to align the skeletal system. Just check in as that sensation erupts. Do you want more or need less? If you want more, you're welcome to hook a hold of your arms. With the upper body feeling a little heavier. Like yours. Try to soften your face, your teeth, your tongue, your lips, your mouth. Just a few more breaths. Then prop your hands onto your shins. Now straighten and align your leg bones. Reach out through the vertebrae. Ardha Uttanasana. Now we're going to get a little active. So root your feet and build your arms up overhead as you come to stand. And now take a gentle backward bend. Exhale, swan dive forward and down to your Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen out halfway, just like we propped up before. And then exhale, roll down. Now, I'm going to use blocks today. You can use your hands, but we're going to step the right foot back behind us. And then as we lunge that front knee, you do want to relatively keep it perpendicular to the floor. It doesn't have to be precise in yin. And usually when we're being really active, I'm asking you to pluck the back thigh up, but we're going to be yin. So go ahead and bring a gentle looseness to the back leg until that knee starts to softly, slowly, and I mean slowly, slow like a sloth, slow like an inchworm. Shouldn't be touching it. You're still hovering. Keep descending though. Until eventually that knee taps the floor. Now keep your back toes curled for a moment. Notice how we're really scissoring the thighs apart and the hips are really kind of pushing down towards the floor. We want to maintain that for yin. Untuck the back foot, but we're going to come to high flying dragon, which means the hands are going to prop to the knee and we're going to back the head over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. In other words, you don't want to push into the front foot and back your hips up like this. That's the active way. Obviously, if you need that more, add it in. Otherwise, surrender. Now, when I'm here, sometimes I notice the shoulders start to creep up toward the ears. We're going to try to keep the shoulders relaxed. I am going to be breaking up this dragon series. So we're working at 2 poses at a time instead of the entire sequence. You may notice as the intensity builds, if they get stronger, that's okay. Just think of it being like a dragon breath, just like that dragon breathes fire. Now slowly turn so that your breastbone can land across the knee. Drape down. Feel free to utilize blocks to rest the elbows on, the knee to rest the chin on. We're really getting into this iliopsoas muscle, and that is an emotional muscle because science has shown that it gets involved whenever we're highly stressed, traumatized, or triggered. It gives us that fight, flight, or freeze So be patient with yourself here. All right, I'm going to set my hands back to the blocks, and then I'm going to push down through the hands to straighten the arms, and that's going to naturally start to back the hips up as well. And then slide your left foot and knee back to join the other. All right, now we can lose the blocks and stand back on our hands to curl the toes, to lift up and back again to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale here. And as you exhale, descend knees, chest, chin, Ashtanga Pranam. Untuck the feet, slide through to your belly, and roll up to Bhujangasana. Squeeze your heels in, squeeze your elbows in. This is active. Stay on the low band of the belly and the pubic bone. Exhale, slowly descend. Inhale, push up through table. Exhale, back it up. Extended child's pose. Now you can be active or passive here. I'm going to choose to be active in this one. The active version is the elbows lifted. The head may even want to hover. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, return to down dog. Stretching out your limbs. Opening up space in the spine. Clearing any cobwebs from the mind. Exhale, let's come back down to the knees. Grab those blocks again, because standing your hands on top of the blocks gives you this extra room in order to step the right foot forward. We'll curl the toes, we'll come back into that lunge, but we're going to let go in the back leg. Slowly but surely, sloth-like manner. Go as slow as you can go until that knee finally touches down. And keep your toes curled a second. It gives a different effect. Now untuck the toes, and notice you may still be leaning forward like I am. So place your hands, prop it to the knee, back the heart up. The shoulders. If the eyes are open, look at something ahead of you, preferably something that's unchanging and unmoving. Use your breath to assist. Staying steadfast in the pose. Concentrated in the pose. We're going to bring the breastbone down over the knee. Sometimes in this pose, I think about a wishbone. Remember when you were a kid and you would get the Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, and then you would pull the bones to see who could get the longest one. So That's what I often feel like when I'm doing these really, really deep stretches. But taking it back to our theme of the wood dragon, what is your wish for this year? And what action steps do you need to take for that to appear, for that to manifest? The intensity builds, amplify the breath, have the dragon breath. Louder on the exhale, as if you were breathing out that fire. As you inhale, stack your hand back to the block, slowly back away, curl the back toes under. But now we're gonna to step or slide the back foot forward. Bring the blocks back out in front, straighten out through your legs, fold down, Uttanasana. Inhale, stack on your shins, reach out through the crown of your head. Exhale, pour back down, firming as you hold nothing. And no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I am being supported by the divine and this universal energy of this year. Inhale, root down through the soles of the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. Take that gentle back bend at the top. Exhale, bring hands to prayer position, salutation seal. We're going to do another. Inhale, arms circle wide and overhead. Take that gentle back bend, and then exhale, swan dive down, Uttanasana. In, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, find those blocks again. And then when you're here, we're stepping the right foot back. All right, exhale, go ahead and tip the back knee to the floor. We're not going to go as slow as before. Bring the left block to the inside of the foot and heel toe the left foot over to the edge of your mat. Now, if you need to be here on blocks, they're great. They're meant to be a helpful tool. However, you might be able to drop to forearms as well. These blocks can turn different heights. You can even go lower or move them away altogether and drop the elbows down to the ground. Again, use your discernment through the experience you're having in the now. We're moving into the low flying dragon. And then just allow your left foot to roll to the outer edge, pinky toe side. So that left knee kind of falls away from the shoulder. And this is our winged dragon. You also have an option to turn your face to the left and stack the left hand on that right, left hand on the left thigh. Adding in a twist. Come back to stack on the sole of the left foot. Restack onto the palms of your hands. Turn those blocks back up if they were lowered. Send the left block to the left side of the foot. Heel toe that foot closer. Curl the back toes under. Lift that back knee. Pluck that back thigh up towards the sky. Now lower it back down and bring the left knee to join. All right, set the blocks over. Excuse me. Lift back to down dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to move back into the vinyasa. So for today, exhale, knees, chest, chin, ashtanga pranayama. Inhale, slither through to the belly, cobra. Hold your cobra. Build your back strength. Exhale, slightly drop your head. Then inhale, push into the floor, back through tabletop, into your extended child pose. Yogi's choice, active or passive. Inhale, rock forward table. Exhale, down dog. Inverting again. Look at inversions having anti-aging properties. We talk about it being like a natural facelift. We talk about it feeding the pituitary and pineal glands in the head. How it calms the nervous system. But it's also playful. Think about it as a child. All the time we would spend upside down on the monkey bars. And then as adults, we forget to be playful or go upside down every once in a while. Your next out breath, come down to your knees. Restack onto the blocks. We got that second side. Right foot's gonna step through. Back toes tuck to lift up to the lunge. Just holding that ever so briefly before coming back down. We're not going to be as slow on that descent. Because the right block's going to come to the inside of the right foot, we're going into a different phase. Again, you can have hands stacked on blocks, hands on the floor, still to the arms, or you can spill down to the elbows. So we're moving a low flying dragon. Reminder to relax the face, the brow, mouth, the jaw. Any expression on the face. And then if you want to create your wing, roll to the edge of the right foot. And so instead of that being lifted or close to the body, it starts to fan out and veer away from the body. You also have the option to lower that left hand or forearm, stack your right hand onto the right thigh, and twist to that side of your mat. Unwind. Plant the right foot, stack back onto the blocks, heel toe the right foot back in, curl the back toes under, lift that back knee off the floor, and you can step or drag the back foot forward. Fold down and in, Uttanasana. In, and slide your hands up your shins. Exhale, release. Inhale to the top. Lean back. Finish it up. Hands to heart. All right, I'm going to step back on my mat a little bit. We want the blocks ahead of the feet. Now, think about what we've been doing thus far. We've been opening up the front of the legs, stomach meridian, according to Chinese medicine. We've opened up the back of the legs, urinary bladder meridian, according to Chinese medicine. We've opened up the inner thighs, spleen, liver, and kidney meridians. Now we're going to target the outseam, the gallbladder meridian. So have your left foot to the center of the mat. Cross your right foot over and to the outside of that foot. Depend on both right now. Hands to the waist. Lift your breastbone. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips and catch your blocks. Now, if you need the block, stay here, but you need to shift your weight. If you can take your hands to the floor and bow down, again, we're going to shift the weight. Meaning we're going to move the hips to the right, just a couple inches. That way we feel the weight more in the left foot. And your right foot is not really working at all. It's just kind of there. And hopefully you feel that stretch in that IT band. Stack the hands back to the blocks. Put the weight back in both feet so you're sturdy as you come to stand. Uncross. Now where that left foot is, that's where you want to place your right foot. And then hook that left foot over and around to the side. Hands to the waist. Extend your vertebrae. Exhale, hinge. Descend your hands. Determine here. Need to use the blocks or can you let go? Matter. We're all going to shift the hips now to the left. So feel how your weight drops into the mound of that right big toe. Feeling it come away from the mound of the left big toe. And that's the idea, because we're trying to target that IT band. Bring the hands back to the blocks. And now we're going to uncross the feet and separate them out. And we're going to lift the heels, bend the knees, and come to a toe balance. So if you need to use those blocks, do. But if you can erect the spine and take the hands to the thighs, be here instead. You can also have hands to prayer. Find that drishti point. We're going to work the feet just a little bit more. Obviously, if this isn't great for your knees, come on down. Do another pose instead. If your knees are good, and you want to work the feet just a little bit more, tip down to your knees. Sit back up. Or hands to heart. Just a few more breaths. If you come out, walk the blocks forward, lean your shoulders forward, take the weight off the feet, slowly untuck the toes. Now, we're coming down to the buttocks, swinging the legs out in front. We're going to come down to the back, hug the knees in briefly. Open the arms and let your knees slowly, like we were just sitting the knee before. That's kind of how slow I want you to go in the twist. Sometimes the slower we go, we can get a pop or a crack, letting out air or even creating some spinal alignment. With natural readjustment. Obviously, if you need any props, you can incorporate them in. Now bringing the affirmation, I am opening myself up to a new flow of the life force energy within. Inhale, grip in your belly, bring the knees through the middle, and just as slow as before, send the knees over and out to the right. In my younger years, I would always turn my head in these twists. And now that I'm at midlife, I prefer keeping the head neutral. So let your own intuition guide you on that. And this is a good one for that stomach and gallbladder meridian. Let's roll to the right side now. And once you roll to the right side, grab your bolster. And so if you have another pillow or bolster, you can also set it up underneath your knees. Some people like the blocks underneath the knees or even a rolled blanket. I have two bolsters, so I'm going to use them both. And we're going to start off creating a little back bend. And then you can determine whether or not you want anything for the legs. The color that often is red for the Chinese New Year celebrations, but the wood dragon in particular, it calls in more of a coral red, a bright yellow, or even green. So see if you can picture one, two, or three of those colors. The red being protective and grounding, the green being life-giving and healing, representing growth and potential. And of course, that bright yellow representing your own strength and power and will to take action. You can even picture one of those mythical creatures in your mind's eye. Give yourself something to focus on. Deep flow of our breath. Begin to create movement, hands, feet. And then your knees roll away and come up for a seat. Hands joining together, head bowing. May we all take this lesson and intention of our practice to feel supported and loved by the divine and universal energy this year, asking us to be flexible, to be adaptable, to change, and to evolve. Knowing in order to do so, it requires action. The light within me honors and bows to the light within each of you. Namaste.